Hi friends, Zoey here. So today I'm going to talk to you about something a little bit different, a little bit, deep. And I'm going to be talking to you about past lives. So let's get started. Okay, so this might be a little bit different than what I normally talk about. I know I talk about spiritual things on my channel and I talk about law of attraction and things like that. But this is something that I feel like I've kind of thought about talking to you guys a little bit about because it's something that I'm truly fascinated in, and I found that it's granted me a lot of clarity in my life. And I've also told this theory and these things to a couple of my friends, and they've seen connections with it in their own lives, and it's granted them clarity as well. So I thought, why not share with you guys? Because I share a lot with you guys anyways. And I was just sitting here filming a couple videos before I leave Italy, and I was like, you know what? This is kind of a topic that's been on my mind that I've kind of thought about talking to you guys about for a little while. So I encourage you to stay open-minded and let me know if this helps you or grants you some kind of clarity, or if you believe in past lives, because I think it's pretty interesting. I'm gonna just let this be a candid chat. I have nothing planned for this video, but I just thought I would just start talking about it. So I was in Sedona, Arizona. If you guys read my book, you'll know that this was the time I almost crash landed in the States in the airplane, but then I was in Arizona with my family for Christmas, and we decided to take a trip to Sedona. And Sedona is known to be a very spiritual, very beautiful place. And we had an amazing time there, and I actually saw a spiritual guide, and I was able to ask questions about my future and what's to come and kind of like what was going on in my life in that moment, in that present time. And I always like visiting the psychics. You guys know this. I know some of you have commented like stay away from them, but I don't think of it as like a negative thing. I think it's always open-minded, and if anything it's like entertainment, and I think it's interesting. So I saw a psychic, and she told me that I knew my soulmate in this life. And the reason why this person was my soulmate was because we had many past lives together. That was the first time I heard about past lives, to be honest with you. It's obviously I'd heard of the term past lives, and you're like, oh, maybe in a past life I did this, or like maybe in my next lives I'm going to do something like that. But it wasn't a topic that I really thought about. So when she said that to me, I was like, you know what? Okay, maybe I'll start looking into past lives or whatever. So I left Sedona, went back to normal life, and then I started cruising around on YouTube. And I started watching channels like Top 5s. I like Top 5s, and I really like Paranormal Junkie. I came across a couple of videos on past lives, and they were so fascinating about children being able to recall their past lives. There's actually one story about Anne Frank, and it's about this little girl, and she went to Amsterdam, and she told her parents, like, I used to live here, like, I was Anne Frank. And they're like, okay, what? And then they're in Amsterdam. And if you guys have been in Amsterdam, you know that like every street kind of looks the same. And she led them to the Anne Frank house. And she was pointing out things in the house, and she was recalling her past life. So there are some really mind-blowing stories. I'm definitely going to leave a couple of videos below of things that I found super interesting. Back to the topic of your present life, and say people in your life who you have a connection with, and you can't really gauge this connection. You can't really understand why this one specific person you have such an attachment to, or why you feel such certain things about certain places, like for example me in Rome and me in Italy in general. So I started to educate myself a little bit more on past lives and theories behind it. I was able to draw connections. I'm going to use the example of Rome and of Italy because you guys know that is something that I just feel such a spark about. I feel so much joy about Italy, and I love it so much, and I just feel like being here, there's such a sense of comfort, a sense of home. I'm so attracted to the Italian language. I'm just so attracted to everything Italy. And even when I was younger, before I even really knew much about Italy, before the internet was a thing, I was drawn to it, okay? Like any movies that had Italy in it or anything Italian, I loved it. Like I just couldn't get enough of it. I used to rewatch movies, like when I was in grade 5 or whatever, when Lizzie McGuire movie came out, like that movie's still my favorite movie, but I watched it consecutively because I was just so fascinated with Rome and Italy. And then when I came here 5 years ago now for the first time, and I was backpacking by myself, and I got in Rome, and it was just an immediate connection, and I just, the pull was just there. And I knew that someday I would live here. Like, I just knew. And I was so infatuated with Rome. I went home, and for years, as I told you guys, like, I thought about Rome every day. Like, it was a lover or something. I would just daydream about Rome. I just wanted Rome. The smell of the jasmine in the air, the heat, the streets, just the language. Like, anytime I would hear like an Italian song, I was transported. I loved listening to Dean Martin. Loved listening to Dean Martin since I was young. Like, since I could go on LimeWire and start downloading music. I was a child on LimeWire downloading Italian songs. I don't know, it doesn't really make any sense, okay? Like, it's the one place that I'm so attracted to. I've heard these things about the reason why you feel such a connection with a certain place is because you've had past lives there. And even a few of you said, you know, so I think your past lives were in Italy. I think you were an Italian in your past life. And I'm like, best compliments ever. But okay, so more so on this, I just feel like because I've educated myself a lot more on the theory of past lives, and because it's something that I believe in now, I feel like it's granted me a lot of clarity in my life, because I'm like, you know what, this is why I could never understand this attraction to Rome, never understand the pull towards Italy, this like slight obsession with anything Italian. And now I'm like, it must be because I had past lives here. And also on the other topic of people, so there'd be people in my life who I met, and I'm sure you've met in your life too, and you're like, I just know I met this person for a reason. This person has guided me in different ways, and there's all different types of spiritual words or labels that you can put on these people, like, you know, soulmate, soul contracts, twin flames, and all this. And I encourage you guys to like check it out, because I think it's pretty fascinating. If you're into things like horoscopes and spiritual stuff, I think you could find it really interesting. I just think that, like I said, clarity is the biggest thing that it's granted me. I could never understand, and I'm the type of person, I'm a Sagittarius, I always want answers, I always want the truth. I need to ask my questions, and I really want the answers right now. And I couldn't understand, like, I'm like, what's this person supposed to mean? And why is there such an attraction here? And why did I, you know, just meet this person just so short, but it was so meaningful and all this. So I encourage you guys to check it out. Like I said, it's just something that I think is interesting, and maybe you'll find it interesting too. And yeah, so I guess thanks for letting me ramble about this. If you guys have any questions, which I'm sure you probably do, leave them below. And again, I'm not telling you this is something you should believe in, or, you know, it's the right way of thinking. Like, nothing like that. Nothing like that at all. It's just something that I found fascinating in my life, and I feel like I can draw it to connection. So I wanted to share that with you, because I know a few of you have reached out to me and said, you know, the way you feel about Italy, that's the way I feel about Japan. Or the way that you describe how you're so drawn to Italy is the way that I feel about India, and I've never even been there. So I feel like in some way we can all maybe relate to this topic, and it can grant you a few answers that you're looking for. Anyways, let me know if you guys like this kind of chatty style video. It's just something that I felt like I wanted to talk to you about. So yeah, I hope you have an amazing day. Thanks for tuning in, and if you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe below, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye!